Good day. This is Regina's Rabbit Hole, and I'm starting over because whether I'm dancing or just talking to you, even though I am all alone, I have no freaking support by my side whatsoever. I'm being systematically attacked every time I open my mouth or move my limbs. Strange, right? And there's nobody to complain about it too that's right next to me. So I must be bringing it on myself, right? Somehow. Because I just don't shut up and just die. Why don't I? Anywho, yesterday we were talking about sacred space and Kundilini energy. And today, I'm going to talk about the root chakra. How? The color red, these frequencies and tones are in a state of emergency. Taste the rainbow. Skittles. A vast majority of tastes and flavors the world is. How things are, from our unconscious mind, are attached to our subliminal passages, right? To our unconscious mind. And how, when we don't know that, people capitalize on our needs. And those needs, what I'm getting at, are attached to our root chakra. Our desires. It sounds like a dirty word, but it's not. We all have desires. Did you know that you could take a child and put him in a room? This was a study that I ran across with psychology. Took a child, I forget the name of the doctor, put it in a room. The guy was sick too. I wish I could remember his name. And the baby was not allowed to be touched. No touching for the baby. Did you know the baby would die? Do you know if you don't touch, you can give the infant food, you can give them shelter, clothing, but if you don't touch, the infant will die. There are certain senses that we need in order to have proper development. The difference between nurture and nature, and a lack of nurturement and psychology during childhood development can turn the child into a psychotic thing. Can set something off balance, the lack of touch. This is the well-known facts in psychology. So, you can surmise that touch is very important in our society, right? That's even how it's in a book, and it's already documented that touch is already an important part of our society. What's happening with touch? How do you get touch? How do we market touch? How does touch apply to our Kundilini energy and our desires? Law of attraction, perhaps. These are things that I just found out while I was looking for answers for myself. So I want to get touched, but I want to be touched in the right way. I'm talking to the youth. I'm talking to us. I'm talking to myself. Our self, right? And I want it to be healthy. I don't want it to be like that crap that I saw in the movies where people are disrespected, where there's no sacredness, no substance to it all. It has to mean something. That's my choice. I mean, we all have our fantasies. Young, wild, and free. You know? Forget about the love and just hot. What is it that we're thinking of is what I'm getting at. The intention and the universal law, the correspondences on how we call things to one another, like groupthink, like the bandwagon, like the stuff that is programmed into us as we're growing up and we start learning about touch. It's corrupted. What happened to just being around people and just being around them? A hug just for the sake of hugging. Seeing a flower and not picking it, just smelling it or admiring it for the sake of admiring it and smelling it. Who is teaching us and training us these behaviors, right? These indoctrinations where we see red and we're just ripping things apart. The things that we desire, we're just devouring them. We're not savoring them, honoring them, becoming a part of them. A mingling of a different sort, right? It's just a hunger. And the same energy of the microwave generation, the thirst, the vampiric type energy, the immaturity, that we can't wait. We don't want to cultivate. We don't want the good stuff. Or we get the good stuff. We want the stuff that somebody else cultivated. It means something to them and we like it and we can package it. We can capitalize on that. And what I'm getting at is sex. Our touch, our intimacy, our desire, our being has been one of the largest commodities that there are on the planet. Because our Kundilini energy is how we plug into one another. It's our life source energy. Attached to us with our essence and who we are the things that we desire. And those are the things that connect us to one another. It's the way that we look at things. It's the way that we plug into one another. And it's a way that we can capitalize for better or worse, for richer or poorer. Yeah. Or forever hold your peace or speak. You know what I'm saying? Speak now about this Kundalini energy and the marriage, the mirage that we co-sign, that we're contracted into, that we subscribe to in our culture. We tell them it's okay to tell us how to touch one another. It's like that two-sided coin. On one side, though, they're saying you can get with this. But on the other side, you also have to get with that. They're not teaching the balance of the alchemy. That's why I was saying, you know, we're kept in an immature state. We're not taught to think or to develop. And in something so precious like intimacy and touch. Intimacy. What can you see if you've only been taught to look for a big butt and a smile? What can you see if you've been taught you've been taught what I am. You've been taught what he is. We've been told what something is, and it's been labeled, and you cannot detour. Those are the social norms. Right? That's a good girl. That's a bad girl. That's the guy you want. That's the guy you don't. That's the child who's never going to be anything. That's the one who's got it all working for him. But we've got it all labeled, and who decided? Where did all this come from? That's the part that's the most important to me. Some of this stuff comes from a good place. Some of us do have really good mentors and did happen to come from places that are really good sources of morality, good chi, you know, good energy, good parents, good people in our communities that we were gracious enough to be corresponded, you know, to hook up with. But there's a lot of us who don't and still are learning. And one of the most embarrassing things to do is to have to ask about sex as an adult when you're saturated in it through the mediums, right? You're supposed to know all this stuff, but you don't. And as a grown woman, I know that you don't. I know you're still trying to put it in the wrong hole and act like you know something. I know that you still want to talk to the girl, but you've been taught to argue with her instead. I know that there's things that you want. There's things that I want to be able to talk about. But how when the corresponding frequency isn't there because our mating has been brought offline? This is detrimental. We're meeting each other with someone else's eyes. We're sleeping with people that we don't know. We're sleeping with the enemy. We're sleeping with Sims and carbon copies. Plastic people. Gatekeepers. You can't explore. Even in the realm where you're supposed to be the freest with your partners. Well, how can you be free when it's just... So, there's that thing with free, right? There's the free that you get that comes with a price, right? It's free, but you might get sick from it. It's free, but we want to hook you on it to buy it. It's free, but something's going to happen to you if you partake. There's that kind of free. There's free, I want to help you because you're standing next to me and you're messing up and look, there's no other way to do this, so I just got to give it to you. There's that kind of free. There's a free that you got to work really, 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 really hard for. So it's not really free while you're doing it because it takes up a lot of current. It takes up a lot of energy. It takes up a lot of strength, a lot of inner strength. So it's not free. It's costly. Oh my gosh, it's costly. Whew. But you're free. You're free. Free to talk shit about that particular area that you no longer are carrying the burden in. That's what's just so, and to get to that place where you can just lift those, take off those burdens and those heavy loads, you know what I'm saying, that other people put on us. Shame and guilt and confusion. Oh, I'm at the Humane Society. I just saw my doggy's box. I was putting Benjamin to sleep. So I'm going through that. Some of this stuff is coming out. There's things that I gotta say. There's things that I want to say. There's things that I'm gonna say. There's things that I'm driven to say. This is my corresponding frequency. It's my law of attraction. It's just who I am. And I'm looking to find my other corresponding frequencies. But I'm looking to do it in a way that I feel is nurturing, holistic, beneficial, mutually beneficial. To touch one another in a way that's going to provide solutions within our culture and our society to make a holistic environment and a revamping of the way that we respect one another, we love one another, and we utilize each other's talents, abilities, and insights. This is Regina's Rabbit Hole. I'm at the Humane Society. This is my idea of being humane. My light code frequency. Hue inside this body. Feeling purple like Prince. Anyway, you always got to find some humor to be able to deal with life. I'm going to go bury my precious Benjamin in the yard. This is Regina's Rabbit Hole. Much love to you and yours.